Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another video, and today we're going to be doing a more commentary type of thing. So the topic for today is something that I just needed to rant about. Not really rant, more of like a ramble, but it's something that I've seen a little bit lately, and I saw it a few times a while ago, and I didn't really think much of it, but it's been happening more recently, and it's a little odd if I do say so myself, and that is the topic of YouTubers being sponsored by law firms and promoting these huge law firms in the beginnings of their videos. Like, we've all heard of like sponsorships being like Skillshare and Raid Shadow Legends and shit, but now it's like, oh, you get into an auto accident, call these people, right? And they'll help you. It's a little jarring because it feels like when you're watching TV, or back in the old days, back when TV wasn't just streaming services and actually had commercials. And of course, y'all have seen Better Call Saul, probably, at least some of you. You know those commercials. It feels a little like that. And I'm going to be going into a little bit of like why I feel like it's kind of weird. I'm not attacking any of these YouTubers or influencers that are doing this, of course. Obviously, it's just a sponsorship. It's on one hand, I think what's a little strange about YouTubers accepting these sponsorships is I feel like a lot of the times YouTubers and influencers try to put forward that like their sponsorships are things that they actually use and like. And it feels a little weird to be promoting like law firms, like these huge conglomerate law firms being put forward as being like, oh, I trust these people. And it's like, I am pretty sure you probably haven't used this. But yeah, moving on. And of course, I'm also not going to mention the name or names of law firms in this because, like, they have so much fucking money. Like, that's the thing. That's another point, is these law firms have so much fucking money to, like, sponsor people in the first place even and spend on advertising. So, like, yeah, first of all, I just want to talk about, like, how, I don't know why it's become a thing more recently. I'd actually never seen it before, like, this year, probably. Because most of the time we see YouTubers promoting like products such as apps or games that they like, or like they say that they're cool or whatever, you know, or products like such as skincare or you know, everyday things, but it feels a little different to be trying to like promote something that's people put their trust into with their entire finances, I guess, especially towards people who have been in types of accidents where perhaps their lives could be ruined if they don't have the right representation and things, you know? And just in general, promoting like kind of life-changing type of things is it's a little odd. And of course, I don't think these YouTubers or influencers, of course, are like doing this maliciously or just like trying to make a quick buck. I mean, like, of course, I don't blame YouTubers or influencers at all for making money or doing sponsorships because that's what you do. You know, you gotta be able to survive somehow. But also, it's a little strange. Yeah. Second of all, I think something that is something to think about is like that these law firms have so much money, and you see these commercials and billboards for these law firms like fucking everywhere, like every 2 seconds, and they spend so much money on advertising, and it's something that they're starting to target larger content creators with large platforms, which is mostly what I've seen. And I'm not going to name anyone, but I'm sure you probably have seen a few content creators sponsored by law firms recently, as I have a few times, and I've seen some people talking about it as well. So yeah, there's like that large amount of advertising money, and I'm sure that these deals they're doing with these large content creators are probably like kind of huge, because especially because these content creators, instead of, there's no like affiliate link or anything that they post in their descriptions. They just post a link and go, hey, go look at this law firm if you get into an accident. And it's interesting because most of the time when YouTubers do sponsorships, it's like, oh, go to this link and use my code and I'll get some of the money from it and also you get a discount type of thing, you know? But with this, I'm guessing the amount, like the deal is pretty wild, I think. Yeah, so going into that too, third of all, what I think is something to think about is that this advertising strategy is a little different from possibly what they've done in the past, these law firms. What I'm guessing is going on is that they're trying to target younger audiences because, again, most people use streaming services these days. Most younger people don't really watch TV. It's mostly just people watching YouTube and Twitch streamers, I'd say. A lot of people I know don't turn on the old telly and link up their cable and sit through commercials, you know? And even so, like, looking at billboards, a lot of young people probably won't look at a billboard and try and call that number. I don't think. I feel like that's not as trusted in modern times, since there's also the internet and everything to do research on, which is comes to my next point, which is that these influencers and YouTubers with large platforms of young people, it's with people that you watch, I feel like there's almost a level of trust. Of course, that's like parasociality, that they have your interests in mind, which I know is kind of like you should kind of know that these are sponsorships, and of course they're being put forth as sponsorships rather than being like, I use this and it was awesome, right? But also there's that kind of level of trust when it comes to these YouTubers talking about, hey, here's this huge law firm. You can just go to their website and file a claim if you have any kind of accident, and it's really awesome, and they will help you. And I saw this. I went on some Reddits too, because they go on Reddit for opinions. Because I'm not the most well versed in law. Of course, I don't go to law school. I considered law school for a while, but I never finished the LSAT. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I went into a few Reddits of people that are like lawyers and other like paralegal stuff, and they're mentioning that a lot of these advertisements put forward that the convenience is like the main thing that these large law firms are good for, and especially marketing that towards young people who might not know exactly what to do when something happens to them. They might remember, like, this is this is like when you think about how you're watching TV and you're like, advertisements aren't affecting me, I'm not listening to them, but with a YouTuber who you like kind of trust that their opinion is good, telling you that, like, oh, this law firm, you can just contact them and they will help you if you get into some kind of bad accident or something happens. And I think that's just a little, it's a little misleading because on one hand the convenience shouldn't be a leading factor, and this is what some people on Reddit were saying on like lawyer forums and shit. So take it with a grain of salt, but I think that's an interesting thing to think about, is that the convenience of it shouldn't be top priority when it comes to your finances and your livelihood, such as if you get into like a bad accident and get badly injured or anything. It's just something that's like to think about, and also that these large law firms are, again, like, fucking massive. So I was looking into these a little more as well. I was doing a little bit of research, and I found out that a lot of these law firms that are really, really huge tend to it's kind of strange. Like, the turnover for cases is very, very high. There's because they get so many cases, and they tend to take the ones that will get them money, I guess. And of course, again, they operate as businesses. I'm not saying like, oh, lawyers can't make money and shit, but it's just like the way that these advertisements are, that they have your best interests in mind. While some lawyers might, these large law firms might not have that type of interest, I guess, when it comes to making sure that you are cared for. I guess I know this is like not even a hot take. It's just like, it's just a corporatization of being a lawyer, I guess. And of course, I think that these places, I don't know exactly how the prices of these large law firms compare to private law firms, and I'm guessing it might be cheaper in some aspects. But at the same time, there are also cheaper lawyers that you can hire. I think that probably give you the same type of service or better based on them being like working on your case and not just kind of passing it around. Because I've heard these cases get passed around a lot because there's like so many lawyers in these businesses. And also, not to mention, I read a lot of forums of people talking about working there, and they were saying that like they a lot of people quit super fucking fast in these large corporate law firms. But yeah, that's a little tangential, but it's something to think about. But yeah, I guess my main points. I just think it's something to think about and be a little wary of. Of course, like everyone's always a little wary of YouTuber sponsorships, depending on the wording and everything. Like depending on what it is, like not putting your entire trust into a YouTuber when it comes to like, oh, they said the skincare project is good. I bet it's very good. Because I mean, like, who knows? It might just be like shit, and they're saying that. But it's when it comes to things like personal injury lawyers and like things like if you get into like a really bad accident or like just think about it. Like what I recommend, I don't have any. This is not me trying to give law advice, but like just don't act so fast when it comes to decisions that could change your life, I guess, and think about trusting these influencers. And like no offense again to these influencers, I'm sure that they also did their research and they just want to put forward something that I think could be helpful even in their sponsorships, but like also just weigh out your options. Contact people you know and ask around about good lawyers, I guess, rather than going straight to a company that boasts convenience and like going really fast in a case, because that's not really the best thing to think about like at the front of someone's mind when it comes to like a life-changing decision or something that happened to you. Is you should be thinking about like convenience and getting through it very fast. Of course people have busy lives, and I for one, yeah, I would find it a little difficult and scary because it's like the whole financial situation when it comes to hiring a lawyer is always very kind of screwy. But yeah, just making sure to take these things with a grain of salt. And I'm not too sure about like the morality of sponsorships, because again, like putting forth these options to younger Gen Z audiences that I'm 23 years old and I barely know what I would do if I was in a bad accident or something happened to me or someone that I knew. Like I guess I kind of know a little more because I've had some life experience in that, and some people that I know, of course, and also I looked into law things a little bit before when I was considering law school, but of course, again, that didn't go anywhere. But yeah, just having that exposing Gen Z audiences to that is a little, I don't know how to say. I don't want to call it bad. It's not. It's again, it's just sponsorships, but I just think it's not irresponsible. It's not irresponsible. I mean, maybe a little, but because a lot of people, I feel like my age or younger, especially people who are just out of high school, because they don't teach you about this shit in high school. Like they don't teach you what to do if something happens to you, and say you don't have a support system around you that can help you figure out things. Like they don't teach you about that shit in high school. So you get out of high school and you're 18 years old, something like some shitty thing happens to you and you're like, I don't know what to do. So you think about like, oh, I'm just gonna go with this, like, I know this is like not really a snap decision that should be made, but like thinking about like, oh, this person said that I could just go to the website and file this claim and it's super easy, but like that's not exactly the thing that you should be doing, I guess. But yeah, anyways, that's my take on this situation. I don't know if anyone else, there's like might be people talking about it. I noticed that on some videos where people have those sponsorships, people in the comments are like, this is a little weird. Yeah, I guess again, don't go after any creators that are like doing this. And like, I don't want to again mention any law firms by name because I don't want them to like, I don't know, come find me, you know. But yeah, I just take everything with a grain of salt, of course, and make sure you're staying safe and everything, and making sure that you like when YouTubers make an ad about something that could alter your entire life. Just like kind of sitting back and being like, okay, I'm going to think about this a little harder, if that makes any sense. Okay. But yeah, thanks for watching the video. If you have any more topics, like suggestions or anything, leave them in the comments. It'd be pretty pog. I hope this was coherent. I kind of just had a lot of thoughts on it that I needed to talk about. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.